Alrighty, here we are with some more Saheeli Cat combo. Didn't really make any meaningful adjustments since the last time trying to run through with this. The deck felt pretty good with where it's at. Still kind of the same sentiment as before. Still kind of hoping for Force Negation and Little Teferi to eventually drop down somewhat in price online, so I can play with a bit more of those cards. I think those are potentially good includes. I think the deck would have to change on the number of blue cards in order to actually fit Force in here. As you can see, there's not a billion of them, but I do think that it could be a relevant difference. Teferi was fantastic for us, actually locked down a game or two, and made things awkward for our opponents a number of times, so definitely looking for more of those. The only actual change I made was I swapped out a Prismatic Vista for another Breeding Pool. I think having more fetchables is fine. In Prismatic Vista, while it does fetch any basic, it just, if I'm going up another non-basic, I think it makes more sense for that to be the fetch to cut. Not a whole lot of reasoning behind that other than, we did fetch out all of our basics a couple of times, or close to all of our basics a couple of times, and not having a billion non-basics meant that that could be potentially awkward. So just to kind of hedge around that in case we go to some long games occasionally, that was kind of the change that I decided to make. Not super meaningful, but we're just going to give it a shot and see what that's like. Additionally, grabbing a second Breeding Pool is pretty good for our deck for the most part, so being able to just have a second one to find should hopefully be nice. Helps us with, almost every single sideboard card that we have. But alrighty, let's hop in. We were able to get the 3-2 last time, which is really nice. Get our stuff back plus some, which is awesome. Hopefully we'll be fortunate enough again here to have some success. Now, this hand could be anything, which does make me want to keep this against a Luris opponent, honestly. And I guess they get to go first, so I will keep this. I was thinking for a second that I would lead on it. What is this? So they're on the scales, right? That's the graph one? Okay. What I was going to say is I was contemplating for a second, ooh, would you like to graft on my bird? I was contemplating for a second leading on Oath, because all of our other cards are redundant against like a Thoughtseize, but I just don't think that's where we need to be at all. Okay, that's potentially pretty scary for us. I think we're going to end up leaving up Mana Leak here. That's actually a good draw because that doesn't show them that we're leaving anything up. So we can draw off this. Yeah, that's fine. That's a good pickup as well, too.
Looking for the best music for your videos? Then you should check out Artlist. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you...
Alright, yeah, the path is actually a good pickup, and maybe for that reason, actually, I should have played out the birds. Now that I think about it, because their scariest plays are going to be, like, creatures here. I suppose an Ozolith is also surprisingly horrifying out of this deck, so probably want to keep an eye out for that. Did find an Inkmoth. That is how I have died to this deck every single time I've lost against it so far. Literally every single time. Alright, let's see here. Hanger back.
Go to Artlist now and start creating.
Yeah, that's fine. We have the path in case that does, like, become a nuisance. But I think I want to try and save that for, like, a Ravager. Let's go...
I'm in Amsterdam.
Hollowed Fountain here.
Without a doubt, the cannabis capital
unlock
of
both
the
blue
world.
and white.
And that's because of the enormous...
Kind of kicking myself for not having played out that birds and holding up path, but we could have really been hurt if they went like hardened scales or something. That could have been really awful for us. Teferi. Teferi. Is that what we want to do this turn then? Probably. We can Teferi and leave up path, which is pretty good. Yeah, I think we'll do that.
Now, we at the Motley Fool have been pretty quiet on this growing marijuana
Inkmoth
trend
can
now.
potentially go after our Teferi, but I think that's fine. They're spending 2 mana to try and do that. That's okay. Yep, that's okay too. They're
with
just going to make two
cannabis
1-1s.
legalization sweeping over North America,
Obviously not like the
and
best case
experts
situation in the
predicting
world
the
for us,
US
but I
industry
think that's
to
fine.
skyrocket to $80 billion by 2030. It's time for investors to start paying attention.
So
Because whether or
I think
not
that's fine with me. Yeah. I'd honestly rather have that get popped now than later on when like that's gonna potentially kill us with a Ravager. Ozlith. See that? That card is really, really scary. Cause that card like plays around path in like just such a brutal way. Another one. Yikes. See that one could prove to be pretty scary for us. I think we just have to let all this stuff happen. We may end up just having to save this path for this Ink Moth at this point. Might be where we're at. I'm going to start with drawing a card here. So we'll do that. Then probably play out birds and pass. Hold up Mana Leak this way. Or path. Either one. Now, if we go on Island, we can hold up Mana Leak and Path, or we can play Oath of Nissa, as well as our bird. I guess we'd have to play this one for the green. Well, we don't have to, but I think we will anyway. Let's do this. See what we find. Hopefully a Felidar Guardian. Sweet. And hopefully this, us having this Guardian is going to make them feel kind of pressured into like making a move or two here. Yeah, hopefully that's going to be the case. I don't think we're really in any extreme danger to dying, but... You have to search from your phone. That is kind of scary. I think we can... Alrighty, here we are. Sideboarding in game one of our Felidar Cat combo. We are against Scales. And against Scales, I think these cards are good. They're green-white Scales. They do have Path Exile, which is definitely interesting. I think Detention Sphere can also come in. Try and answer some of their permanents. I'm not a huge fan of Lightning Helix in this matchup. Kind of thinking that maybe it's even something like this. Spell Pierce just seems to be better because most of the stuff we care about is their non-creatures like Hardened Scales, Throne of Geth, and the Ozolith and things like that. And then we still have Path as removal and Detention Sphere as well too. So we're gonna give this a shot. Also because chances are they could have something along the lines of like Pithy Needle in their sideboard to try and stop what we're doing, and all of those cards answer Pithy Needle as well too. So unfortunately we won't be able to keep this one. Bit of a bummer, but we will however be able to keep this one, and we'll just put back one of our 3 Astrolabes. And we should be good to go here. So let's see. Let me make sure I didn't accidentally... Okay, good. Sometimes when you think you're like F6 and it doesn't work, it's kind of a big problem. I'm just going to pass here, actually. These Astrolabes are going to draw us cards anyway, like eventually, and I really want to be able to answer like a Throne of Geth or an Ozolith or something like that if they play it. I'm going to feel a little sad if instead... Oh. That is hilariously bad against our Astrolabe plan, huh? But I was gonna say I'm gonna feel a little bad if they play like hanger back there, exactly hanger back, but that doesn't put us in the worst spot anyway, so I think we're fine with that. So we'll do this. Draw a card. It's interesting for them to bring that in against us. I guess they think we're on like a Snapcaster deck and therefore can't like Snapcaster stuff back. That's maybe their thought. Or it keeps us from comboing all in one turn, I guess. It does do that. Sure. Assuming they'll graft onto that. Seems like a good target. Debating here, we'll see what we draw, but there may be some consideration to just, while the only thing they can graft onto, or modular onto, is this thing, maybe some consideration to just untapping and detention searing the Ravager right now. Yikes, just more lands, huh? I think that might be the spot that we're in then now. I don't like it, but I think it might be where we're at. We just kind of need to stem the bleeding here. Excuse me, been a little sniffly. Yeah, so we'll just take the Ravager off the table. You know, they'll get to make themselves a 4/4 and start to pressure us even more, but Ravager's just huge to be able to take off the table. Now, of course, I'm going to be really upset when they go in, like, you know, they Ozolith us this turn, or whatever. That's going to be potentially problematic, but the good news is this does unlock us being able to just, like, Teferi bounce this later, because since they sacked the Ravager out from underneath it, us bouncing it doesn't actually let them get the Ravager back into play, which is kind of nice. Downside of this is, of course, they can just Luris it back at some point, but I think we need to stem the bleeding as best as we possibly can at this point. Ancient Stirrings, yep. You get all your stuff tapped out. So they just found another one. Yeah, see, and that's pretty bad for us, actually. Yep. Assuming that's the one they found, right? Yeah. Sometimes they have like different arts or something like that, so would be important to know. Really looking for like a path to exile here now. Well, there it is, huh? I think we're gonna go fetch a non-basic in tapped. And then Astrolabe here. Okay. So we now have Spell Pierce might be diminishing here, but we do have Path to Exile. Oof, see, that's how I've lost to this deck every single time. Guess. Okay, so this just means they can't like double Ancient Stirrings in the same turn. It's kind of nice for us actually. So, Throne of Geth. Do we need to do anything to this Throne of Geth? We probably need to Mana Leak this. Yeah, this just is another way for them to move all their counters around. So I think we have to Mana Leak that. It does mean that they can't Harden Scales us here. Oh, don't just play another one. That would be so brutal. Man, really wish we were playing Sweepers right now, because if we just got to untap and like Wrath them, we'd be in a pretty good spot, because all they'd have left is Luris. Excuse me. So, if we Saheeli plus, can we win? I would say Saheeli minus on the Astrolabe, but we don't have the ability to... I think we need a plus. Because we need to find Felidar Guardian, and we need to hope that they attack not all at us, basically. Play that out, and we will pass. Unfortunately, we can't spell pierce anything even if they have it. So let me think here. If they up that, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 counters, 5 counters, 6 counters that they have to move around. So I don't think we're dead to the Ink Moth. Okay, does that change anything? So they will get to recast their Arcbound Ravager. I think this is okay for us now, and then when they cast the Arcbound Ravager, we will path this one. Now I don't know if we're alive still, though. I'm not going to do the math on this. They can do the math. Because that only adds 1 counter. They can up their hanger back. 1, 2, 3 is what that'll be worth. 4 counters. That doesn't actually have modular, but then they can sack the other Ravager to the Ravager, so I think we're dead here. I believe that's exactly 6. We'll see, I guess, but I believe that's exactly 6. We'll see if our opponent does the math and comes to the same conclusion. Come on here. Oh, they sacked. Wait. Doesn't matter, right? Because that generates 4. They actually sacked to the wrong Ravager, which is kind of funny. It doesn't matter here. They were fortunate enough for it not to be relevant whatsoever, but yeah, they are just going at us. They should. Whoa, 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 whoa. Do it. Do it. Okay, for a second there, I thought they weren't going to sack and go for it. It's like, what are you playing around here? I'll let them kill us. Sometimes it's nice to let the opponent, you know, get to do their thing. Let's see what we have. It's a fairy into Stomping Ground. So, I think we were dead anyway. We weren't going to live through that for 2 turns. So, they were on a large, just creature beatdown plan there. That's, I feel like, not typically how this game goes, to be honest with you. Starting to think that Lightning Helix is a bit more appealing at trying to nug some of the stuff that they're trying to put counters on, just to have more ways to interact with that. So, I think that's fine. We'll trim Spell Pierce. Spell Pierce for 1. Kind of want to bring in a second one, and I'm thinking it might be a Mana Leak. And try something like this. Have just a couple more ways to like interact with the stuff that they're trying to put the counters on in response to it. For the most part, I do think it is better to keep most of their things off the table as best as we can, but it's only so much we can do for that. I guess maybe we should have kept Spell Pierce in over Mana Leak, only to try and answer a Harden Scales on 1. So now we're gonna feel silly. Yeah, so we have a Mana Leak. But I guess we have to play out our birds anyway, so it doesn't actually matter. Yeah, I mean, I think we keep this. We don't necessarily get to fairy on 2, but we'll get to hold some stuff up, like Ceremonious and Mana Leak. And worst case situation, we do have an Ice Fang Quaddle to be able to put into play, so... Pass the turn, opponent. You don't have a Hardened Scales. Are you pathing us? Is that what's happening? Or are you modular, playing the 1-mana modular guy? Yeah, that's what's happening. Arcbound Worker. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Ooh, man. Really wish I could cast that now. This mana may prove to be a bit awkward with Double Forest here, but my assumption is we're going to have to be drawing a land at some point anyway. And now a red land, a white land, or a blue land all help us. I think that means that every land in our deck, because we only have 2 basic forests. Yep, that will resolve. Really happy to see that, because I don't actually want to Mana Leak something this turn. I do want to Ice Fang Quaddle this turn. Ink Moth. Okay, so that's going to come down next turn. That's fine. Awesome. Yikes. I do feel like that one needs to be answered. And I'm going to choose Mana Leak over Ceremonious because this leaves the cheaper option in our hand, so that later down the line, we can potentially, like, you know, if we draw land here, we can try to, you know, like Teferi bounce, have 1 mana up, or, you know, something along those lines. So this is good for us. I don't... So we know they have Ink Moth. I don't really want to put this Ceremonious Rejection down. I just don't want them to stick an Arcbound Ravager or, like, another Ozolith if we can avoid it. So I think we're just going to pass and leave up both Ice Fang Quaddle and Ceremonious, because this also will put a blocker into play to help protect whichever Planeswalker we end up deploying. So that is also good for us. Notably, with the choice that we made and hitting this land now, we can't answer Hardened Scale specifically. But Walking Ballista X1, I do need to answer that one. I don't want that to be able to interact with our combo. I also don't want it to be able to kill our birds. I don't want it to be able to kill our Teferi. There are just lots of things that it doing is far from beneficial for us. I'm not going to block here because they do have 1 mana up, so they could just modular onto the Ink Moth. And I think I'd like to be able to keep this as a blocker for the Ink Moth if we need it to be. That being said, we do need to draw cards, so we are still going to play this out here. We're not going to, like, save it for an ambush by any means, but we do just really need to draw cards. I'd love to hit. Okay, land drop's good for us. So I kind of... Saheeli would go down to 1. I kind of want to Saheeli minus on the Ice Fang Quaddle. What does that leave us with? We can leave the actual Ice Fang and the birds back. Oh, we can't if we Saheeli. We would have to Teferi minus on this. Maybe that's what we do then. Teferi minus on their modular. I think that's fine. Still gonna leave this Ice Fang back, just because I don't want our opponent to be able to, like, Walking Ballista for 1 and, I guess they can't they could Walking Ballista for 1 and land and kind of, you know, do it all, but, to be able to take care of our Teferi. But I guess if they have Walking Ballista, they're taking out our Teferi anyway, so. Alright, Hardened Scales. So now I feel a little silly for having put that modular back in their hand, but we are at a point where, we have 2 flying blockers as ways to stop this Ink Moth Nexus from killing us. And we do have 1 piece of our combo. Ugh, they do have another Walking Ballista. I'll be curious if this is just going to fire off at the Teferi. Very well might. Maybe even just the Ice Fang. Yeah. So Teferi down. I wonder if they feel the need to answer more, or if they're just going to try and pass. Here comes that one. Yep, so double Walking Ballista is potentially really, really rough for us. Lightning Helix. I do like that. So, let me think here. If we Lightning Helix the Walking Ballista, we can then play Saheeli afterwards and scry with it. Problem being, our Ice Fang is probably going to get eaten by this Walking Ballista. But I think that's the spot that we're at. I do want to shock off this so we can leave this back as a blocker then too. So I think we can find blue-red with this and be fine. I don't think we need double white for anything. Yes. Red, white. So we'll Lightning Helix this. We won't get to gain the life because they're probably going to eat our Ice Fang. I guess that could have been a reason to attack with the Ice Fang, but if they... Oh, interesting. Okay, so now we will... Red. Float red. Okay. I'll play this out. We still do have to go up with this. I would love to be able to minus on this, but then if we didn't draw... we would have drawn birds. I was literally just going to say if we don't draw birds, we're in a world of hurt because they'd be able to kill our Saheeli. But that's a bummer. Now I'm just hoping they don't have third Walking Ballista. Third Walking Ballista is potentially really, really hazardous for us here. Just have to hope they don't have 3 Walking Ballistas in their top 10 cards or whatever it is. 13 cards. Trying to think here. What all can they do? Path to Exile can take care of that. Then they could attack our Saheeli for 3 currently. If they have Path and that. Arcbound Ravager would mean that they could take our Saheeli off the board. But they would have to use a decent amount of resources in order to do that. I suppose if they do have land, they could just land Luris back Walking Ballista. No way, is this just another one? Okay, Hangerback, that's fine. Hangerback is fine. So we do need to be wary of that, is that they can Luris this back. Do I trade here? No, I don't think so. Another thing to be mindful of, so they didn't put the Hangerback Walker out there with another counter, which would add 2 counters to it. And there could be 2 reasons for that. One, they just want to be able to leave up, if we trade, putting stuff on Inkmoth, but more importantly, it probably has to do with Path to Exile. That's probably a good draw, right? So let's go up with this. Put that on the bottom. Play this out. And what do we want to do with this? So they tap their Phyrexia's core thing here. I think we need to brainstorm here. My thought could be we could like bounce the Hangerback. If we bounce the Hangerback, though, we could very easily lose Jace. I think I want to brainstorm and try to find a path here. We did not find it. That is no bueno. So this is awkward too with the way we've tapped. Do we have to... So this would have to fetch for a green source, which means that all this stuff's getting put away. Do we need to fairy? Is it crazy to just... If we put back land on top, right? I guess we should keep one of the lands. You know, put back like Oathedness of Flooded Strand. We can, the following turn, cast it to fairy. 1, 2, 3. We would have enough to be able to... If our Jace sticks around, we can try and fetch and brainstorm into... 2, 3, 1, 2. Because we haven't played a land yet. Try and brainstorm into the Felidar. I think that might be where we're at. So it's going to be this one back. And then this one back. Play this tapped. Say go. Okay, now this is definitely scary because they're still at a point where land Luris is really... yikes. I was just going to say it's really, really rough for us. I think not going to Luris. The only way I can imagine that being better for them is if they have another Walking Ballista in hand they just want to get out. Okay, that's what I thought. So, now the good news is here that this comes down as a 2-2. Oh, they're going to replay the Ozolith? They're going to try and, like, combo kill us next turn. Okay, so what do we need to do here? They can't sacrifice to put anything anywhere. Where are these going? Saheeli, Saheeli. So we do have to block one of them. I think then that means we block Hangerback because I don't want them to be able to modular onto. So I think we'll do this. Because if we block this one, they'd get the counters on Audulus and they'd get the modular, which is pretty rough for us. Really, really surprised. So they have to have Path to Exile, which then means that our Teferi here might be able to lock this game up. So 1, 2. So we know we have a land on top of our deck. We have our Flooded Strand on top of our deck. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So we will need that card in order to combo. So I think we need, if we start with Brainstorm, we see Flooded Strand, 2 cards. Then we can keep the Flooded Strand, potentially put, you know, possibly even just both of those cards back. Do we have enough? We don't have enough to Oath Inissa into it. That's a problem. So I think we might have to start on Teferi Bounce on something. Teferi Bounce on, maybe it's Ozolith. Maybe it just doesn't matter. I guess we'll see the same number of cards whether we start with this one or this one. We know we need to find Bellatar Guardian in our top 4 cards. Is basically the spot that we're at now. Didn't find it. So this can go back. This can go back. That might mean that we live, though. So now we fetch. Huh. How many basics left? We do. Now we fetch, we scry. Come on. Oh. Player Teferi. Now with this path, what do we want to bounce? It's really awkward because I kind of want to. I guess we can bounce the modular. Bounce this. I wonder if they're gonna. I guess they can't path their own thing. Ooh. Ooh. We don't have double white up though? No. Dang it. Because this would mean that we could. So close. So if we... If we Detention Sphere... I mean, we have to take the Luris off the table because we can't let them just keep recasting these Walking Ballistas. But at the same time, this Ozolith is really horrifying for us. But I don't believe they can just kill us with the Ozolith. They will get to take out, like, all of our Planeswalkers. But if we go to their upkeep and path the Luris, then they may be priced into... No, they'll probably just put all the counters on this, huh? So maybe we need to Detention Sphere the Luris. So that way the following turn we can try to hold up path for Inkmoth Nexus. Yikes. So this is going to go after Luris. Yes, I would like to use this ability that tries to keep me from losing the game. This turn has been really complicated. We could have potentially gone for the Scry draw first and then Brainstorm, but then we wouldn't be able to get rid of those Brainstorm cards, and I think we need to have fresh cards on top of our library at this point. It's just really, really going to stink when our opponent goes like, you know, play another Hangerback walk or another Walking Ballista, mow down literally everything you have because of this Ozolith. Ravager. Does that kill us? That might kill us. Yikes. Not having this double white up is huge. That probably killed us, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Man. And I just know with the way this is working that 12 out of 10. 12 out of 10. There's got to be a Philidar on top of our deck. That's just how that works. Okay. We'll see if we can punk him out and make him think twice with the taking off our auto yield. Make them think we have Bolt as our last card. Let's see what they do. So they Ozolith probably just onto the Inkmoth, right? Yeah. Okay. Should help them see through what's going on here. Yeah. That's coming at us for sure. And I can only imagine that they go for it here. Man. If only we had like... We have like actual Shatter here. Just 1 mana, destroy target artifact. Just like, boom, gotcha. That was a rough one. Definitely a rough one. Wait, what? What? Excuse me? Huh? That is not what they meant to do. Okay. Well... So is it better to scry first? I guess because there's no other way for us to draw a card. So I guess it is better for us to scry first. So now we can... Let's see here. If we put back land Astrolabe... No, we want to keep Astrolabe. If we put back... I guess this isn't going to do anything for us. That back. And... then this. We can Astrolabe, draw that land. Can play this. I kind of like actually keeping the Ice Fangs. That way we know we have one hit. I know that could potentially mean that we're one card away from the Philidar Guardian, but I think we can win without comboing this turn. Because now we have two things. I guess this means that both of these are lethal. Maybe we should have just, like, pathed right there. Well, we'll get to find out, because this Ice Fang Coatl is going to draw us a card. This is another Ravager. Hanger back. So they can only attack with two things, which is what's relevant here. Okay. Okay. I mean, you have... I guess they're trying to set up lethal on both attackers. Is that something they can do? How many counters do this have? Show me. How do I... Oh, show me how many counters on that? That's a bit of a bummer. I think that's what they've set up here. Just trying to have lethal on both. I'm gonna put them all on this Ravager. block. If they sack to try and move them, he gets a path. Wow. This does mean we have to win again this turn. Okay, that trigger's fine. I think. Now we path in response to this. Although, I guess it doesn't really matter. Like, there's so many counters on this that preventing another 20 or whatever doesn't really matter. So they do also only have one attacker again. Do we know the top card of our library? I don't believe we do. So I think we can just draw. No, I want... Yeah, because we know 2 cards that are on the bottom, I believe, right now. Mana Leak. Okay, so... Scry one first. Nope. Astrolabe. Draw. Nope. Brainstorm. Man, we're getting to see so many cards. Okay, we found it. And we have a Teferi in play, so I guess we just, yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Shouldn't have won that game. Honestly, maybe I should have just conceded. Maybe that would have been the right thing to do. Now in hindsight, now that we're done with that, because it does feel really bad to just lose to a Moto misclick. Maybe I should have just done that. Now I kind of feel bad, honestly, but it also is kind of cool to see, you know, what our cards can or what our deck can generate in front of, in the face of card advantage, which is kind of cool. We also were only 1 colored mana away from being able to path to exile, like 1 Astrolabe or one more white mana or something like that. Wow, that was definitely a wild game. I will say that much for certain. I think we can keep this. We'll go birds on 1. I think we'll go off the stomping ground. Chances are we're going to need to shock that into play anyway. Windswept Heath is probably going to be funding us at basic planes to cast this Astrolabe. Leyline of Abundance. Whoa. Band and Pioneer. Whoo-wee. Are they playing another one into play? No, I think you like multi-click them. Okay, yeah. Phew. Okay, so we may need to like upkeep path them with some stuff here. Honestly. This next turn might be like play out Oath of Nissa, actually upkeep path something. This is like a dork. Yeah. Yeah, I just don't want them playing out Walking Ballistas for a billion. Ooh, that's actually good for us, because then we can just Lightning Helix that and they don't get the land. Sweet. So we will fetch basic planes here for the purpose of Astrolabe, but also all of these white cards in our hand. Being able to double white with that and birds is pretty important here, I think. And then we will Lightning Helix this. Basic planes. Astrolabe. Draw a card. Another Lightning Helix. That's probably good for us against the Leyline of Abundance Elvish Mystic deck, right? Like, just a whole bunch of these things. It's probably good. Hopefully they just go, like, Elvish Mystic, Elvish Mystic. That would be great for us, because then we can just, like, Lightning Helix another one down, and hopefully, like, upkeep past something. This could be, like, a Sylvan Carry added. That would be a problem. No, Devoted Druid. Okay, so they are a Druid combo deck, so we are most definitely going to have to take that off the table. I kind of want to... So I want to hit our land drop, and it comes down to, do I want to Oath of Nissa and use that to find a land, or do I have enough faith that our Arcum's Astrolabe will draw one? And I don't know that I have enough faith the Arcum's Astrolabe will, so I think we're going to lead on this. It kind of stinks to use this to find lands, but I mean, I guess it is kind of a ponder, and you do have to ponder sometimes for lands, so It's not nothing. Hollowed Fountain, I suppose, is the take here. Yeah. Any order. Could play this out. We could Shock. We can Astrolabe. And then we can Lightning Helix this. Just really showing them who's boss. Just sticking it to them. I don't want them to untap with that because they can Collected Company. Don't know if that's a card in their deck, but it very well could be if they are a combo deck. It could be, so you never know. Okay, Elf. This might be stop on your upkeep path. Like, as crazy as that sounds. We'd end up using everything we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana is what it would give them access to. Or if we path, they're just at 2. Then when they untap the next turn, they're at 4. This definitely is not like our intended use for Path to Exiles is eating up dorks, but considering they've missed land drops and all they've done is played 1 mana dorks, or just a bunch of, creatures, I think this might be okay. Obviously we're going to need to draw some action here. Can we save 1 path? 1, 2, 3, 4. So that tells me they don't have Collected Company in hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this gives them access to 4 mana. What else could they do with 4? No, there's probably like all the 4 mana Planeswalkers kind of deck, like Karns and Nissas and Vivians and things like that. And I just don't want to give them access to 4 mana during their own turn, because the chances are that's probably what they're trying to do here with all these dorks. Similar to the Pioneer decks. Man, that's a bit of a punish, honestly. Really wishing we had drawn things in the other order so we could have pathed 1 and helixed another, because chances are when they do get all the way up to things that are big and scary that we won't be able to answer it with a Lightning Helix. They don't have anything to do with 4 mana, even in their main phase. Interesting. How much is this to pump? Like a bunch? 8? Okay. I do want to crack this. What do we want? Maybe Sacred Foundry? Sacred Foundry's probably fine. Our mana should be fine with both these Astrolabes, but I'm just trying to get a couple of lands out of our deck if we can. Teferi. I kind of like that. Kind of like Teferi. Bounce your Leyline. I know it doesn't do a whole lot. Collected Company. They did have it. Wow. Okay. So now we can bounce one of their creatures and Lightning Helix another one. Assuming that at least one of them is Lightning Helixable, which I would hope. So they must have drawn it 4 turn last turn. That's the only way that makes sense. Okay, I think we bounced the Druid Kilizuri. We just don't want them to have that. Is this just elves? Like, it's gotta be, right? Looks like just elves. So bounce that. Draw a card. Oof. Could be in business here. And we will pass 1, 2, 3, 4. Bit of a bummer that we are currently 1 mana short of being able to blink into combo next turn. Could draw lands, could just draw the Saheeli, and then we could blink for a land. That could be cool as well too, so we knew they had that. That is fine. And yeah, so they are just elves here. Interesting. Ooh. Does that change anything? I don't really think so. I suppose we could do this first, because what we could do, doesn't matter, is we can blink our Teferi to Teferi bounce that. Okay, so this is interesting. I think that will be our play here. Because I want to try to protect our Saheeli as best as possible. So I'm going to blink our Teferi, bounce their Elvish Archdruid. Yes. Bounce this. Draw Last Path. That'd be sick. Is this worth playing out? guess. Can't imagine them having anything that punishes us for going down to just one card in hand, like a discard effect or something to that effect. So now, this is a little sad because this does put us in a spot where if they have Path to Exile, they can just main phase Path our Felidar Guardian. So this does open the door to doing that. But outside of them Path to Exiling our Felidar Guardian, we do have the win rolled up here. Doesn't look like it. Alright, sweet. So, we have one. Curious if our opponent... Yeah, okay, I was gonna say curious if they've realized the interaction or not, but... So, green-white elves with Leyline. What do we want? I think... maybe something along these lines? Just trying to kind of answer the board as best as we possibly can. Mana Leak isn't great. I can only assume that they have Cavern of Souls in their deck. But it is an answer for Collected Company, which we have seen. I'm kind of feeling just shift in 3 Mana Leak right now. Just shifting 3 of those out, bringing these 3 cards in. Now that I've played this a little more, I'm kind of thinking a Supreme Verdict or 2 might be right in the side as well too. That could be the case because now we've wanted it in both of our last matchups. Supreme Verdict, or I mean, even better gotcha value with Settle the Wreckage could potentially be even better against the 2 decks we've played, I suppose. But so double path, Felidar Guardian, Jace. What I don't like about this hand is it's similar to the issue we had before, where the paths are going to just replace the mana they would get from the elves. But now that we've seen that they're on elves and they're not on, like, you know, ramping into 4 mana planeswalkers, I'm more okay with letting them untap with an elf, even with a Leyline in play, because them going to 3, it's like, okay, they'll play an elvish Archdruid, can path the Archdruid, right? They'll play an Azuri, we can path the Azuri, or something like that. Don't have a Leyline too, so that's good for us. I think we are... Wow, they are going real deep in the elves here. They're just jealous that we get to play our snow cards and they don't. I think I'm going to play this tapped here. I don't think there's any reason to hold up path here, because even if they go path, or land Azuri, or land Archdruid, or land like something that we want to kill, we now have Lightning Helix for that. Yeah, so we are going to want to kill that one. Because chances are they are running the combo. But, we can do that, like so. Bam. And this is kind of the situation I was talking about, where now we have these removal spells that are saved for their real threats. So we're in a spot where, yeah, they can just like start jamming Archdruids and Azuris and all this kind of stuff, but like, we also just get to path to exile them. And, so now, there's an interesting consideration. If we path now, we open them up to drawing Collected Company, but if we do it on their upkeep, they can only company during their upkeep. I think that's worth doing then. Then if they draw it for turn, we don't give them the opportunity to do it then. So I think that's right. I think we want to do it then. It's not like they have counter spells or anything that punishes us for letting them untap, and this means that they can only company during their upkeep if they already have it. So that's good for us. Kind of actually looking for a Teferi here. I really wouldn't mind that, because we can protect it with a path to exile, and it would stop them from being able to have shenanigans with Collected Company that, you know, at least that we can't foresee, kind of thing. So they don't have it now. That doesn't mean they can't draw it for turn, but we know as of right now they do not have Collected Company, so that's good for us. I don't like giving them their 4th land then, but it is what it is. Is this just like another Archdruid? Azuri. So that one's going to have to eat a path as well too. I think we're going to grab another non-basic here. I want it to produce white, blue probably. And then after this one can grab a forest. Oof. So, what if we blue, red, white. So if we grab a forest here, we go forest, Saheeli, upkeep, path this. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? It's 5 to activate that? Yeah, so unless they have Simian Spirit Guide or something. I can't see that happening, but just in case. And the reason I want to grab just forest here, save damage, but as well, this will give us an opportunity to be closer to drawing Quaddles for value. So we'll scry 1. We'll put this on their upkeep again. See, and that's the card I was just talking about. I don't think we actually want it right now, though. Just because I think we, for the most part, have the ground locked down. I would prefer to just, like... I mean, we might just be going for the combo this next turn anyway. But what I would prefer is something like a Teferi or something that can help keep the combo, like, locked in. Like, we just know that we're going to have it. What I don't like is this turn they may just say go. And if they just say go, we have to be scared of Collected Company. I don't like that. I do like them tapping more mana. Okay. Yes, 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 yes. Sweet. Alright, so we did it again. We don't need to get our free scry value in. We're just gonna do it. So we got him. Comboed him off twice. Very fortunate in this situation. Just clean combo on turn 5. Just interaction, kill you. Kind of how I wish the Splinter Twin decks were allowed to act, but that's a different story. Actually sitting here shuffling Splinter Twin, Pestermite, Deceiver Exarch. Those are my shuffling cards. I have 25 Pestermites and 25 Deceiver Exarchs, just in case they ever let me get back with my sweet baby. And then, when I tap them to make copies, I'm just gonna have copy tokens from the actual cards themselves. I think that's kind of cool. Had a couple buddies that disagree with me, but I think that's fine. I like it. We'll see. Chances are this is never going to come up in the first place, right? I mean, I don't foresee them unbanning Twin anytime soon, but, you know, a guy can hope, so. Alright, on the play, we get 2 birds into turn 2. Birds land. Go next turn. Felidar Guardian for no value yet, but we'll have had 2 draw steps by then. This provides us acceleration and 1 piece of our combo. So we don't know what our opponent's on, but this could just be a, like, accelerate into combo game. You never know. You know, if we rip Saheeli off for our first draw, then we're just gonna slam that down and pray, right, that we can just do it. But chances are pretty slim. Pretty slim that our opponent doesn't have any way to interact with us. However, the more they mulligan, the more I feel they may end up on Tron. And if they are on Tron, mulligan to 5. Okay, so I am feeling Tron vibes here, because no companion, as well as mulliganing super aggressively. So actually, this is a pretty good hand to have against them. This does give us an opportunity. Mulligan to 4. Ooh, yeah, it's got to be Tron or Dredge. I can't imagine anything else mulliganing this aggressively outside of somebody who's just really unlucky. If that's the case, then our hand's fine as well too, obviously. But if they are on Tron, this is potentially a pretty good hand, because it does just give us an opportunity to just straight up race them. We do need to rip Saheeli probably within the first 3 draw steps, but we can rip Astrolabe, we can rip Saheeli, we can rip Teferi could potentially buy us time, because on a mulligan super low, if they are on Tron, they may not be able to play and crack like a map or something like that in the same turn, so Teferi being able to bounce things could be good for us as well too. Oops, sorry, I can turn that upkeep stop off. But, okay, Gemstone Mine. So, Dredge? If that's the case, I feel like that's okay pickup. I mean, Path is never, like, great against Dredge, but it does do some things. Um, one lander out of dredge. So, alright, this is interesting, because part of me wants to play out our Felidar Guardian, just because, you know, we can, and that leaves us alive to top decks. Yeah, I think we're going to. We have no idea what they're on at this point, and I think that's fine. So we'll play this out. We'll blink our bird. Play a Flooded Strand. Okay. I guess technically we could have played this first, but whatever. I don't foresee that mattering. This could... Oh, this is... Never mind. What am I thinking? This is probably Neo Brand. That's probably what we're up against. Yeah, this is Neo Brand. Okay. Now we are in a desperate, desperate need to get things taken care of here. We don't have a clock. I think this is going to find a basic. We don't really have a clock right now, which is scary. This Path to Exile can occasionally be good in this matchup. Only because... Wait, are we on all of our colors? We're out of red, but we can't grab red without grabbing non-basic. I guess that's fine. I mean, I don't see Coatl being super relevant here. Like, even if we get to draw cards with it. Okay, okay. Come on. Come on. One time. One time. Give it to me. Saheeli. That's a bummer. Okay. Well, we can play this out. We get to blink our oath. We don't get to do it this turn, which means... Okay. We have it for next turn. They have to kill us. Now I'm really wishing those were nobles, because if we put them... If we would have been able to attack one turn earlier, and attack for 3 here, putting them to 16... I guess doesn't make any difference. It's trying to get them below 14. But even if they do have it, if they get to, you know, play their dude and then try to Grizzlebrand us, we can path in response to like the first activation and then just kind of hope. What could they have here for actual interaction? I don't feel like it's really anything. Like, they don't play interaction in their main deck, do they? No. Okay, they're F6'd. They're just gonna have us click this out, because that's fine. I feel like sometimes I'm not sure if opponents don't know about this interaction, or what the deal is. They also could just be, I mean, they could just be holding up Nourishing Shoal and hoping that we don't make enough copies. So we are going to make, I mean, close to infinite copies here, because we don't want to get got by just, like, Nourishing Shoal you. So, Nourishing Shoal, I think the worm they play is a 15 drop, so 15, so we're looking at, what, 34 minimum? I'm always just afraid to target one of the copies. I don't know why. So I always go after the original. Shouldn't actually matter, but... Yeah, we're going to play around Nourishing Shoal. Not going to allow you to get another turn. Although getting Nourishing Shoal plus green thing out of their hand probably would also just be game for us at this point. But I don't think there's any real reason for us to allow that to happen. I wish the auto save targets worked on this, and I wish the always yes worked on this. Fortunately, it doesn't, because they are different instances of Felidar Guardian every single time. So the auto save targets does not cooperate. Yep. Okay, how many were we at? 11. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So right now we have lethal. So we need to do this minimum 15 more times. So that is 15, 14, 13, 12. Yeah, okay, so they see that we're playing around Nourishing Shoal. They were just going to see if we went for Exacxies. But we did not. So I feel like that's actually pretty big here. Yeah, I feel like that's actually pretty big here for us. Spell Pierce is great. It can potentially save us on the draw if they don't have a turn 1. They still cast the Allosaurus Rider, right? Like, that still gets cast? It's not just to put into play? I believe so. Yeah, so Disdainful Stroke will also handle that situation. Thoughts on Veil of Summer are interesting. We can grab all of these out of here. Veil of Summer is interesting only because chances are they have Pact and Negation, so the turn that they're going to go for it, if they have the Pact and Negation, they could also back it up with that. I think I could see us just trimming and cutting all of this. If that's the case, we can get 1 Veil in there as well too. And trim 1 path for the other Veil. I think we just want to interact on the stack as much as we humanly can. So I think something like this. This is a lot of cards for a combo deck. Disdainful Stroke should be able to answer Allosaurus Rider. I guess they could Cavernous Souls that, but I mean if they're looking for they can't Cavernous Souls it. What am I talking about? Because they have to do the pitch cast instead. So that wouldn't work. So I think this is where we want to be. Path is not great, but it's also not the worst, because like I was saying, when they do go to activate Grizzlebrand, sometimes you can path them. Just can't keep this. Nope. Especially now that we know the matchup that we're in. This would be a turn 4 combo on our part, at best. That's just not what we need. I think we can keep this one. This is not great, to be honest, because we don't have any real 1-mana interaction. But the fact that we have Disdainful Stroke means that if they don't go for it on their turn 2, we'll be okay. They kept 7 though, so I can only imagine that they are going for it on their turn 2. Is there any? We kind of have to rip a Spell Pierce here. Might be the spot we're in. It's pretty scary. 1 card on the bottom, 1 card on top. Okay. I can only imagine we're dead here. It's. Do I even want to play that out? Is there anything that Veil of Summer does for me here? Is there anything? Oh, I also am realizing that I put the wrong card back. I should have put back. I meant to put back a Saheeli. I was trying to talk and click at the same time. Is there anything that Veil of Summer does for us here? It could protect against... I don't think they have discard spells. I mean, we'll just keep it just in case. I don't think Veil of Summer does anything to protect us here, but you know, I would just hate to be wrong and then be in a spot where, you know, we lose because I was wrong. That would stink. So I can only imagine this is Allosaurus Rider. Pitch 2 cards. It is not. Whoa. Whoa, they kept 7 and they didn't kill us on turn 2. That's kind of crazy, actually. Split them again, 1 up, 1 down. Okay. I'm wondering what they're keeping then. Is this just like more combo pieces they're finding? This could very well also be... I don't know. I'm gonna get a blue-green land here. Breeding Pool. Should do the job. And then I will... Or actually, I'll get blue-red. Yeah, I'll get blue-red because this can find something else. So, Steam Vents. This may mean that our Astrolabe could potentially be stranded, so it might be... This might find a forest. No, now we're fine. So, now we play this and pass. Okay. Now, what we're hoping for is that they don't have Veil of Summer plus Allosaurus Rider plus this land that they just showed us. Looks like they might, though. Yikes. Okay, that's fine. That is super fine. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Okay. That's okay. So if they don't have Veil of Summer, we actually just kill them with this Disdainful Stroke, I believe. Alright. No Veil of Summer or Pact, please. We'll just, I mean, it doesn't matter at this point. Whole game is riding around Veil of Summer and Pact Negation at this point. Come on! Don't have it. Don't have it. Whoa! Look at that. Look at that. Easy peasy. Easy peasy. Whew! That, you know, that feels really nice. After playing against Tron, or playing with Tron against that deck, like, 4 times, it feels like. I have to say, it feels nice to play a deck that can actually interact with them. Because I played Tron, I kept, and I got turn 1, didn't even play a land. So I was like, well, at least they don't know what we're playing. And then I played land, and I had Tron wrapped up, but I played land, and they went land, Simian Spirit Guide, Manamorphose to get 2 mana, Manamorphose, play their dude out, not Eldritch Evolution, the other one, Grizzlebrand, kill you turn 1. I was like, oh my goodness, like, so I didn't get to cast a single spell, and I just died. That was just brutal, just the actual worst. So it feels really nice to be playing a deck where we have lots of interaction that can help with that. So it's also, you know, more of the style of deck that I enjoy, right? I like the combo control decks. I think it's more like combo tempo is what I enjoy. That's what I liked more about Twin than a deck like this, is being able to have, like, you know, the tempo wins where you, like, tap their stuff and their upkeep or their draw step or whatever, and, like, just start attacking for 2 and 3 in the air occasionally, or, you know, getting in there with Snapcasters just to, like, nug some points in and then try and burn them out because you've kept them from doing everything they've wanted to do, but they've been able to do a little bit. And I think part of what I enjoy about that is it lets your opponent still play Magic. I like to interact in a way where, like, you know, I actually interact. I don't necessarily like interaction in the sense where it's like, what I am doing to you is all that is happening. That's a bit of a bummer. Okay, let's get back on track here. This is interesting. So we can fetch Temple Garden Oath. Turn 1. Turn 2, we can hold up Ice Fang, Mana Leak. I mean, seems pretty reasonable. I obviously don't want to get, like, Thought Seized, because they can just start taking away everything we've got. This is burn. Yikes. Okay. Changes potentially everything. Really hoping for Basic Forest. Give me Basic Forest. Another Ice Fang. Can we afford... I don't think we can afford to Oath Anissa here. I just don't think we can. I think we just have to fetch Breeding Pool, which is also really awkward because we're in a spot where we won't have double things, or triple snow permanents. Okay, yeah, we're gonna have to fetch that away. For certain, we'll have to fetch that away. I guess we can let this attack go through. It's not like we have a path anyway. We are gonna grab Temple Garden. We want to be able to have access to our white mana. Don't be an Eidolon. Yikes. Yeah, we are probably hard locked out of this game at this point, as sad as that sounds. We're just going to have to rip into combo. Okay. I think this means we're not blocking with this first Ice Fang. Because then our hope is play Saheeli plus. we might just have to race up. So if we're not blocking, there's not really a reason to cast this first main. Path. Okay, that's not a bad pickup. That is far from a bad pickup, because that could potentially change things as well too for us. This means that next turn, you know, we can flash this in. I mean, this is all hypothetical. We could very easily be dead here. We can flash this in, and then next turn we can path this, flash this other one in. They have Death Touch at that point. Rift Bolt, so we're at a theoretical 8, but a 6 from this, a 4 from this. And can we even... I don't even know if we can afford to play this out at this point. Because Rift Bolt can just eat this. I think we have to. And then our plan is just going to be land Saheeli. I think we just have to race. I don't think we can spend any time interacting with them. So this next turn is going to be Saheeli put us to 7. I mean, we're probably just dead because Saheeli will put us to 7. That'll put us to 4. I can't imagine they don't have 4 points of burn. Are they going to waste a removal spell on this? Oh, it's a Searing. Yeah, now I think we're for sure dead because they can just kill this Saheeli if they want. So... Oh, and we don't even have red mana for that? Yeah, we're just dead. Alright, because we pat that, go to 4. Mana Leak. Yeah, I think we just have to concede here. I just don't think there's anything we can do. Yeah. Yep. Spell Pierce. Timely. Both seem pretty good. I think they're just like strict upgrades to Mana Leak for the most part. You know, actually, I'm kind of thinking that Ice Fang might be a little slow here. So maybe we can, like, leave a couple of these. Try and answer... Yeah, I like this, because this can help us answer Eidolons as well, too. I don't want to bring in Ceremonious, or not, Celestial Purge. Yes, it does answer red things. But chances are there aren't any non-creature permanents that we're going to be need to answering anyway. Blood Moon is not super effective against us. It can potentially keep us away from double spelling sometimes, but Birds makes a big difference. Astrolabe obviously makes a world of difference, so I don't think we want Purge. I can't think of any other card that we would want to cut for Purge. I guess maybe... No, I like having Teferi. Teferi is good because we can play a Teferi, which just means that they can't bolt our stuff, which is pretty good. So, yeah, no, I think I like where we're at. This is fine. I saw Corey Baumeister played a list, a 4-color copycat list, a little while ago that had 4 core Firewalkers in the sideboard. I thought about that as a consideration over these timelies, but I think that I just struggle with the fact that they're bringing in Skullcrack, and a Skullcrack being able to kill that is just, you know, potentially really bad for us. Obviously, they can also Skullcrack your timely, but then you're at least getting 3 chump blockers out of the deal, which I think is better in the long term. So, alright, so playing against Burn, and we have a keep. Yeah, we'll keep this. This is going to be Bird on 1. Excuse me, Bird on 1. It may even be... We'll see where they're at. I might not want to just run the Saheeli out yet, because we may be able to keep it protected with a Spell Pierce, but we'll see where we're at, because it may be that this next turn we leave up Spell Pierce. And we... Ooh, it's a Fairy. Ooh, okay. Does that change anything then? So... we can... Sorry, skip these ads. Sometimes I'm paying attention to the game a little more. If we... Huh. Now I kind of don't want to play either of them out. I kind of really want to... Huh. So this is interesting. What we could do is we could Saheeli plus, but it only goes to 4. So what I don't like about that is it dies to another Goblin Guide. We could Teferi plus, but that would eat up a path, or a bolt from them as well too. But maybe that's okay. Yeah, I think we're going to Teferi and just plus. If we don't get a card out of this, that's okay, because we're getting virtual card advantage from the fact that they will have to... They'll have to do something to, like, kill us. Or they're losing cards out of their hand that otherwise could be killing us. Pardon me, is what I meant to say. So that's good for us. What I'm not as big of a fan of is the fact that since we are not guaranteed our 4th land drop, we may not be able to hold up Saheeli plus Spell Pierce, and I don't like that. I also don't like that this could potentially leave us open to land Searing Blaze, but I don't believe that can redirect to Planeswalkers, so at least, yeah. Oh, it can? Oh my goodness, okay, I was not aware of that. That's a huge deal. So we might just be dead. Wow. Okay. Oh boy. That's actual worst case for us, and then additionally we just put 2 Lightning Helixes on the bottom. Which is just like nightmare. And now I just know they're gonna go Eidolon. If they go Eidolon, we might just be toast here. Give us a land. Please, please, please give us a land. Okay, okay. It's a start. We need that. We definitely need that. Had I really considered the fact that the Searing effects can target Planeswalkers too? Oh my goodness. Why do I even open my mouth? That could have potentially changed a lot of what we were planning on doing. Ooh, okay. Okay. That's good for us. So now we can crack this for white. We can timely. Go back to... We'll go to 11, go to 17. Get 3 blockers. Okay, okay. We're not out of the woods, but that's also far from us being in the worst situation. What I would really, really love is just a land here, so we can Felid our Guardian, blink our Oath of Nissa, and then with that Oath of Nissa, try and find something else, another piece of interaction. I wouldn't actually want to show them Saheeli, because what would be nice is to make them look like we're digging for Saheeli, when in reality we're not. Would be nice. So I believe Boros Charm can be redirected to Planeswalkers now as well too. Let me check on that one. We are going to triple block this Eidolon if they give us the chance. They did. Let's see, land? Oath of Nissa. Yeah, we are going to triple block. Because if they have a removal spell, now they cannot use it profitably here. If they don't have a removal spell and they just have another Eidolon, we're in a good spot because we would never want them to be in a situation where they have 2 Eidolons anyway. And if that happens, we just get another chump blocker. So yeah, so they just have another Eidolon, which is obviously it's not great for us, but I mean I think it's fine all things considered. So now we can Astrolabe, Oath of Nissa, and hold up Spell Pierce. That will cause a significant amount of damage, however. So we're gonna do this first. Doesn't matter to me which one of these we're keeping. Yep. Take an island. Okay. Island. Do we want to go to 11 for this Astrolabe? I don't know if we need to, because we're going to have to take 4 off of Spell Pierce and Saheeli, most likely. We can't just play the Saheeli out this turn, because then we go to 11. Saheeli only goes to 4, and she dies to, like, anything. I think we just pass. We're also not going to block here. Now, the one downside is we could have potentially ripped. You know, playing this Astrolabe means a couple of, or not playing this Astrolabe means a couple of things. One, we could have potentially just ripped a Lightning Helix. If that happened, I would want to Lightning Helix while they were tapped out. 2, it would give the Felidar Guardian something a little better to be blinking, actually, because just blinking a land is not super profitable. But this could also put us in a spot where we Felidar Guardian blink Island, and with that island hold up Spell Pierce. Now, with that happening, they would probably burn us or do something like that with it on the stack. But there is something to be said about that. Okay, this is pretty bad. A bunch of creatures. A bunch of creatures. Yikes, yikes, yikes. Okay. Really looking for... Man, I guess this is going to be... It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We would go to 6. I think we have to hold... I don't think we can block here. Yeah, this is not going the way we wanted this to go, obviously. Chances are we are just stone cold dead. So if we play this, blink. So, man. I mean, it just has to be island, but I mean, I think we're just dead. Yep. Yeah, I think we were in a spot where we had to rip another. I don't know. Lightning Helix wouldn't have even really done anything. So now we have to block, and if they have anything, we take 2 from this Eidolon. Yikes! This was an absurd hand out of our burn opponent, honestly. That's probably like a searing effect. That land drop. Yeah, this was just an absolutely nutso hand out of our burn opponent. Just not giving us anything. They've had like what, 6, 7 triggers minimum with that. Just haven't been fortunate enough. Okay. So we'll go to blocks. We will block. No, we have to. They have to not have anything. Yeah, they have to not have anything here, which is just super unlikely because they've missed land drops for like forever. Yep, this kills us exactly because now we Spell Pierce this, take 2, we go to 4, and we die. Sorry about that, we had a little malfunction there with the video. Don't know what exactly the deal was there, but it cut out, so we are back. As I was trying to say, our burn opponent put us in a spot where, you know, they were super aggressive, had a bunch of creatures to play out, which is not the way that burn typically works, but their good draws do work that way. And then we also had a bit of a misplay with not understanding the way that the blazing or the searing effects work with planeswalkers. And so we played against Luris, what, 3 times now out of this league? 3 times, I believe. Unsure what our opponent is on here. I mean, chances are, and I hate to say it, it's just another burn. Burn does appear to be the best performing Luris deck, only because being able to get back Goblin Guides is, I mean, rough. And if that's the case, we're just stone cold dead. You know, I'm gonna keep, and maybe this is me hating hating mulligans too much, but this Astrolabe is a redraw. We are on the play, so in that sense, we are a little bit ahead. Also, fetching an island could potentially have them believe we're on some sort of like Urza style deck, which we are not. And if they're not on burn, that could potentially change the way that this game plays out. That's a pretty decent pickup. Bobble. Okay, so good news. If they are on a Jund variation or something to that effect, this Mana Leak is a good pickup because it may be the card that they feel they need to take. That's good for us. They activated looking at our top card, and they did not cast anything, so they know what this card is. So they know we have Ice Fang Quaddle. Cool. We will pass to them. This is especially cool because it looks like we're just holding up Ice Fang, when actually we have Mana Leak, which is pretty nice. I would prefer for them to be on a more traditional Jund build than a Shadow build, only because their clock would be much more aggressive out of Shadow. Targeted us once again. Okay, well, we're going to get the Shuffle, so they're not going to know what that card is. Sad part being, we don't know what they know about the top card of our deck, if that makes sense. Right? They could be something completely different. Okay, this is all fine. Kind of hoping this is where they try and jam like a Ren and 6. Like, that would be really good for us. Nope. Just green-black? Tarmogoyf. Is that worth mana leaking? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think it is. We have a lot of removal in our deck. And I think I'd rather start getting this Saheeli going. This also has Death Touch, so this has to eat something out of them, or they don't get to do what they want, which is good for us. Ooh, it's a fairy. That's really big. Okay, that's a pretty big pickup for us. Yeah, we're just gonna cash that in immediately. It is a bit of a bummer that they could potentially Liliana us. Wow, that's a really good pickup for us too. What do they have anything for haste at 3? Well, I guess they can't, right? They're only on Luris. Do we? Yeah, I think hitting is fine. Chances are this is going to eat, like, something to take this off the table. Oh, I would... Oh, sweet. Sweet. Super fine with that. Using a removal spell on the card that we've already... Yeah. Ooh. Interesting. Oh, double snake. Okay, that's worse. That's worse for us then, I guess. Because that means they can potentially take that out. So I want to do this first. Okay. We don't want another Saheeli, but we don't want to land either. I guess taking another Saheeli is okay. I am thinking, however, that we are just going to... So if we go land, go. I do kind of like that because I want to keep up this mana leak for that Tarmogoyf. I don't want them to be able to Tarmogoyf us. They also could try like Luris and Looping Baubles, and I really don't like the prospect of that. So we're gonna land go. We're gonna lose our Teferi here. But I think that's kind of the spot that we're in. Chances are they might actually end up attacking both the Teferi, because we do have Ice Fang Quaddles in our deck. And man, that would have been a great draw here too, huh? That would have been an Ice Fang. Because they cannot interact at instant speed. Okay, so since they've done that, there's nothing we can do. Let both of those go. I think we're going to grab a Steam Vents with this 3 mana. Luris? Yeah, we'll definitely counter Luris, without a doubt. That's their card advantage engine. This is a pretty sweet looking deck though, just green-black Luris. I am starting to feel like playing no Wraths in the 75 is definitely wrong. Just considering the way that this is shaking up with... Oops. We'll play this out. Sorry, just the way this is shaking up with all of these creature decks all over the place. We will scry one. I know this is far from optimal. Just go on the bottom for now. I know this is far from like optimal, but I want to leave this up to make them afraid once again of Kawato. So we know they have Tarmogoyf though, so they do get to deploy a Tarmogoyf. We are getting to a spot where we may just have to combo off all in one turn. And the fact that this is only going to 4 being super relevant here because they don't have to pump their mana into this. Yeah, really looking for like... Oh my goodness. Whoa! Whoa, that's such a big deal. Oh my goodness. That Unearth is unreal. That's pretty sweet. Really kind of liking what our opponent's doing here. You know, just like a green-black rock in a sense, but you know, a little different. Okay. Yeah, I am starting to feel like we're going to need to combo in the same turn at this point. Because we don't have ways to take all of these things off the table. All of them off the table at the very least. Like at the same time, especially in our main deck. So what are we on with this? We have white, green, blue, red. We have it all. Double blue. I guess we can just grab this one. We need interaction here. Like, just... I mean, we desperately need it. Okay, path. Path. Okay. So... This is huge, right? Yikes. Man, this is just so brutal because... we can start leveling all their stuff up once. I mean, we might be at a spot where we just need a Jace, Brainstorm, hold up Path, and just like, yeah, if we play this out, then next turn we can hope to Felidar Guardian. We can combo them all in the same turn. I think that's what we have to do. So we'll do it this way, just in case. Yeah, I think we need a Brainstorm here. Yikes! That goes back. So, okay, this is a bit scary because what I kind of want to do is put Oath of Nissa and put a Saheeli back, and then shuffle, play out our birds, and we can still hold up Path, so that way we have, it'll force them to attack Jace with like a bunch of things. What I don't like is that puts us pretty soft to discard targeting Saheeli, and I don't think they've played any discard spells yet, have they? They're drawing extra cards off these baubles. So I think instead it's just got to be this at this point. Yeah, something along these levels. And we do need to shuffle that away, because we do need to rip Felidar Guardian off the top, I believe. So they can target us. Which one do we put back second again? I want to say it's birds. Yep, level. So, good news is, this just gets protection from instants. So that one can't be Path. But, I suppose they could also level this one up. Them not also leveling this one up is interesting. So we'll see what they do here. This is probably going at Jace, yeah. Us, Jace, us. So, we cannot save Jace, correct? I do think we pat this Tarmogoyf at this point. And then we can Teferi bounce this if we need to. Kind of hoping they just go like level, level, level. Ooh, okay, so they'll probably leave. So now they might want to leave one up. I don't know what that really does for them though. So they are going to get to know what our card is. I'm just fetching now. They could have sacked in our upkeep, right? That's what they were intending on doing anyway, so it doesn't really make any real difference in the grand scheme of things. We just have to rip, I think. Come on. Bam! Belladar Guardian. Nope. Okay, can we survive? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. How many creatures do they have in the graveyard? They don't have any. We have 1. That's it. So, oops, I'll just go to second main, I guess, for no reason. We do have to play this out. We do have to bounce this one. Okay, Lightning Helix is not nothing. That probably will have to target the Luris, I think, at this point. Okay, so that is the only creature. Now, if we do Lightning Helix, yeah, I think that just has to target Luris. As much as that stinks, just because if we got the Ooze, they just get to replay Ooze, and that's obviously not going to work out for us. So they will get to kill. Oh my gosh, they just have another one. Oh my goodness. We're just not drawing our pass, and we're just getting super punished with all these unearths. Yikes. Man, that card is sick in this deck. That card is just sick in this deck. This is a sweet deck out of our opponent. Honestly, this is really cool. Yeah, this is definitely something else. Once again, I mean, in the same spot where we just have to rip off the top. Now they got that Luris back. I mean, now we're looking for what, like, Path? That's about it. We're down both our Teferis too, which is really rough for us. And us. Teferi. Do they have no more creatures in there? Man, I wish we could blow them out with a bolt. Oh, that would be awesome. If only we could. If so we know they have the other snakes. They're probably playing that out, right? Unless they have something better to do here. Grim Flare. And Snake. Come on. Snake, snake, snake. Nope. Rip it, rip it, rip it, rip it. One time. One time. Come on! Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I mean, I guess we play one of these out and scry. We just did, though. Probably just did. Oh, we will let our opponent go to kill you phase. That's a bummer. Had a couple of different turns where we had some live draws. That kind of stinks. Yeah. Bit of a bummer. Our opponent having all those unearths to be able to get back their Luris has been wild. I'm also starting to think that Rest in Peace is just like a necessity. Like all these Luris decks, and it is good against all of them, right? I guess we shouldn't necessarily yield to everything. So I looked at our top card. Don't believe they know either of the cards in our hand. Could be wrong with that. Let them level this up. I think this one does it. One more. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay. And I would assume they just go all to us at this point, right? Like, there's no reason not to. Right click attack with all. Oh. Yeah, well, you got it anyway. Bummer, because we could have, if we did have a removal spell there, we could have survived through that, but we did not. Okay, so Veil Summer 3. Celestial Purge, probably not great, but probably necessary. And Detention Sphere, probably also necessary. Those are ways to handle and answer Luris, which is pretty important. Path is pretty good. Lightning Helix is, I mean, so it's awkward here because it's not great, but I think it might just be Mana Leak. Cut those and maybe like a Oath or something. Something like this. I want to keep all of our Ice Fangs in. I want to keep all of our Lightning Helixes in. I want to be able to answer their Snakes. I think that that's important. Chances are they're also on Dark Confidant, so I just think we want to be able to answer all of those cards. We don't want to, go down to like just a bunch of paths, kind of thing. Yeah, I mean this deck around is pretty sweet though, to be honest. All right, so we're looking for a good hand with some disruption. Is this a good hand? I don't think it is, actually. Because if they just go like Snake, Tarmogoyf, like, what do we do, right? We're just gonna die? Saheelies are never gonna be protected. I think we have to mulligan that. Oh my goodness. What a way to go down. What a way to go down. We might have to keep this, because if we keep Double Oath Astrolabe, we'll get to draw a bunch of cards. It might just be that Chase has to go. Yuck, 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 yuck. Not where we want to be. But we do have a lot of good things in our hands, so... Right? Okay. Okay. Not what we wanted. Would have much preferred, like, I don't know, Affect Land or just Basic at this point. But, once again, it is what it is. This deck our opponents on is, I can't say it enough, it's just really cool. I'm curious if they're going to just target us once again. It looks like they are, yep. So, I definitely believe they are not on Death Shadow. If they were, I think things would look very, very different. They would be targeting themselves a little more frequently, and they would have shocked a little more. So this does feel like more of just a green-black show. Okay, they took Teferi. That is our way to interact with them. So that does make sense to me. We're just hoping to not get ripped up again. Okay. Okay, we really needed that. We'll find a Plains. And we'll cast this Astrolabe. Okay, and now we have another Saheeli, so we're not just completely soft to them having a discard spell, which is good for us. Rough part is, if they just go like Tarmogoyf, it is going to be fairly big, right? We have Planeswalker, Sorcery, Artifact, Land, Enchantment. Yeah, it's just huge. Oh my goodness. Okay, just a Snake. Do they level it here? On one. What? What? That's crazy, right? That's crazy. So, if they untap, level, it goes to 4, right? How do I get the, like, card viewer thing? No, I want to see. How do I... I just want to double check. Whatever, I guess it doesn't matter. Yeah, oh, I can see the 3 there. So, I kind of want to Astrolabe again. Yikes. Pay 2 and pass. And we can Lightning Helix. Now, what isn't so great about this, I guess we could have just gone land tapped go and tried to hold back that Astrolabe. But, I mean, if they feel the need to pop this Engineered Explosives, I'm pretty fine with that. So we're okay with taking 2 here. Let's see what they do. It's just a big old goif boy. Okay, so now white, red. Yeah, sweet. Can't even take it. Awesome. And then our Saheeli gets to come down on a empty board. I suppose they could have land snake. They have land snake that could be bad for us? No. Okay. So we do need to get this down this turn. Because of the way that... It doesn't matter. Why do you always ask me to do this? Because of the possibility of them just cracking this engineered explosives. That was a pretty aggressive bottom of the land, but we do have Ice Fang Coatl, and that is relevant. Being able to draw more cards, that's one we didn't want to see because Ice Fang will not handle that as cleanly. Okay, scry 1. Path? Show me a path. Now do we need to keep that? I think so, now that we have the chase. I think it's just a little too greedy not to. At this point, I don't want to play out the birds. We already know they have the engineered explosives, so we don't want that happening. So what are they missing? They have sorcery, artifact, creature. Are there 3 types that they have right now? So if they put a land into the bin, we're in trouble. So they see our stomping ground. So that's fine. Letting them see that is perfectly acceptable. Curious if they're going to go after us to get this trigger or not. No, just going after Saheeli. So I think we're okay with that, because they don't get a trigger and her going to 3 doesn't actually matter. That is also fine. I mean, we're free here to rip, right? Like, oops, not on their end step yet. We are free to rip. We could just draw off this, and then we could get super lucky and just rip the Guardian off the top. Give it to me. Bam! Nope. Okay. Now, that's a really good one. We will keep that on top. Now we are going to chase. And bounce this. I don't see that 1 point of damage being relevant. I just don't want to lose to something absurd here. The path is really good that's on top. That means that we can, next turn we can answer a thing and play out this birds and still have up to 3 mana, so this Jace Brainstorm could also be good for us. Okay, so this is, I mean, I guess it just takes the other Saheeli, probably? Yeah. Joke's on you, opponent. We left the path on top of our library. Sick. And Snake is good for them, is fine for us, because if they are just playing out Snake, that on the bottom, we have the potential to rip into the combo. We did not. But I think we can go top, land. I guess we don't get to hold up path in this situation, but we get to bounce with Teferi. Draw a card. We knew what that was going to be. Play this one out. Now we'll send it. Get in there. Get in there, Ice Fangy. Get that nug damage. Gonna try and add that up with our Saheeli pluses to win the game that way. That's what we're gonna do. And so we know we're drawing Hollowed Fountain. Which is fine. What we don't want them to be able to do is if they go... Well, I guess we'd be fine with them making this play, but land Luris, we'd be able to do a decent amount of things with. Wow! Rude! Rude! Rude opponent. Okay, so we'll go up with this for sure. I guess we can scry first. Bottom. Just think we're still looking for the combo. Okay, we'll put these two back. Play this land out. Pass the turn. And we can fetch. Play this out. This can answer something. Just a fairy is getting pretty close to answering something as well too. That is fine. I suppose we do want to fetch a basic here. We sheepishly lost our astrolabes earlier. The silly people we are. Snow-covered island. Bam. Bam. Let's play this out and draw a card. I mean, we're almost to the point where they just like can't win, honestly. Ooh, that's pretty good for us. So we will scry. Bottom. Oath. For a land. Okay. Brainstorm. Oh my goodness. Yikes. Fetch. Forest. Play this out. Make sure you don't forget to plus this. And I think we just say go, just because if they want to attack, and this could force them to like use a removal spell on our Ice Fang, which is kind of nice. Just thought seize us. I mean, we just throw these at their face. We just let this happen, right? Can I just take one of these? Yeah, there's just like almost nothing they can do that's going to be good enough, though. Okay, that's fine. They're still on just 3 types. So I wouldn't mind trading this off here. But it looks like they don't want to, and that's fine. Okay, come on. We're looking again. We've got so many looks. Just give us something. Bottom. Brainstorm. Yay! Always yield. Yes. It looks like they're going to... Their attempt here is clock us. I love when our opponents are just doing the good old salty make you click. This could also, like I was saying, be the, you know, try and make you take another 30 seconds off your clock kind of thing, which it does appear to be that at this point. Yes, and we'll make one. We'll go up, bottom, minus on that. Rio. And we also, I mean, we had Lightning Helix, so we didn't have to be super exact since there, but... Okay, yeah, I think this is fine with the way we have boarded here. I don't really want Timely, they're not that aggressive. Gotta play a little quick here, just to make sure we're not getting stuck on a crappy get clocked out situation, but I think this is a keep, actually. We don't have any acceleration, but we do have an answer to Luris, part of our combo, and an Oath Innocent to be able to try and find some other things. So I'm gonna give this a shot. Now, we don't have an answer to that yet. I lied. Have a potential answer to that. Always yield. I think we'd rather have birds at this point. Any order? Pass. Yeah, I think we'd rather have birds. Because this won't trade with the Hex Drinker yet, I think next turn might be play birds, pass. Or pay birds land. I don't know though, actually, because I do like the concept of holding up Celestial Purge. Yeah, now that they did that, we might want to Purge. Don't really want them to get a hit in with that, so I think we'll play this and pass. Feels kind of awkward, but I think that's the spot we're in at this point. So fine, planes. Ooh. Bit of a misstep, actually. I guess there's not a lot of ways to get around this. But we will not, in fact, have blue mana after this. So we'll purge that one. Kinda hoping for an Astrolabe here, actually. Not mind that. Also would not mind our opponent just saying go. Tarmogoyf. Okay, that's scary. So we can shock birds. Does this answer that? What do they have? We already have instant, so this does answer that, right? Sweet, that's really good for us. Oh, why did that go to 4? Oh, because technically it was seeing itself going into the yard. Gotcha, I understand. I was like, why did that go to 4? So this is okay for us. This birds will be able to produce green eventually, or blue eventually. We just have to not die to this thing leveling all the way up to 8. So now that's a 4/4. Okay, we go to 12. It's on level 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So next turn, if they just go everything, or if they use this to level up, they can level up and do it all. Okay, so it's on level 4. Alright, that's potentially pretty scary for us then. Play this out. Play this out. If they crank that all the way up, they just get to kill our Saheeli. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. But I suppose them attacking our Saheeli might be okay. Yeah, since we have a second one. Okay, so, okay, this is actually really good for us because now they might have to go level, 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 attack Saheeli. And if that is their plan, 2, 3, 4, we can combo them off in one turn this next turn. Wow. Just hoping their last card is not Inquisition. Thoughtseize. They're just gonna 2-turn clock us. No, okay, they did kill her. Okay, not. Oh my gosh, we did it. Wow. Okay, so let's get some Blink of Land. Oh my goodness. Yes. Oh, wow. This was crazy. Oh my goodness. We'll go here. Always yield. Wish this ability just came over there naturally. Like if I didn't have to click all the way across the screen, that wouldn't be as bad. Oh my goodness. Wow, this was super, super close games though. My goodness. We weren't technically dead if they get to untap, but we were probably effectively dead, I believe, because they can. So I get to attack for 6 for sure. Yeah, we were probably dead. Just through the sense that like they get to do whatever they want. And the Hex Drinker is not something that we can deal with. that point. So we're on a 2-turn clock. We have to. I guess we wouldn't die that turn, but we could potentially. I suppose them not being able to level up the other Hex Drinker all the way is important at that point. Yeah, they're just hoping that we time ourselves out here, misclick or something like that, and get a free win. That is not going to happen, opponent, or we just miscount or something like that. I am fine with just making plenty of these. Now this is a spot where it's definitely important to have a mouse, because were I just using my laptop pad to move around and do that, this could potentially be pretty awful. Our other one would have taken a lot longer, and if our other combo took a lot longer, then this one would also take a while longer, which could actually have led to us timing out. Wow, these were really awesome games, though. This is a sweet league. Also, I'm fine with, like, you know, showing my opponent what's up, flexing a little bit harder than we have to, kind of thing. You know, if they're going to sit here and make me click, I'm fine with clicking a couple extra times. That should do her. That will be enough. Alright, and with that, we will just plus. Sure, we'll put that on top. We will move to combat. And inside our combat, we will make sure to attack with all of them. Oh my goodness. Those games, wow. Phew. Those games. Wow, so we picked up a 4-1. Haven't been able to get a 5-0 in a league, but that does feel pretty good. Our loss was definitely a tough one, but you know, I think overall we ran pretty well. I think we had a couple of missteps here and there that could have potentially cost us, but I mean, I love this style of deck. I think it's fun. I think it's the kind of deck that I want to be playing. I just wish it had a little more of a tempo-oriented focus in the deck, but I don't know that that's a way that you can really build this without, like, you know, trying to jam a bunch of spell quellers and all 4 Teferis into the deck and things like that as well too, which I don't think is where we want to be. So, yeah, I would say a very successful league, had a good time, and got to do our thing a decent amount. So, I hope you enjoyed. Hope you have a good one. And this is Pester Mike signing off.